We acknowledge that we were founded on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, the Attawandaronk, the Mississauga and Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, and now live on land that is home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We have many representatives working across this land now known as Ontario, and we acknowledge that there are 46 treaties and other agreements that cover the territory. We are grateful to be able to work and live on this land, and thankful to the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people who have cared for these territories since time immemorial, and who continue to contribute to the strength of Ontario and to all communities across the province. To continue to center reconciliation, we encourage our team, partners, students, and teachers to take time to learn about the lands they are currently on. Visit native-land.ca for more information.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today as we go on a tour of a tree farm in Ontario. So I'm Madison. I'm the events coordinator at Eggscape, and I'm one of your hosts today. So we are hosting this event to learn all about tree farming in celebration of National Christmas Tree Day, which is always the first Saturday of December. So for those of you that are watching, please put all your questions in the chat so our farmers can answer them throughout the field trip. Now let me introduce our special guest, Shirley. Shirley is the Executive Director of Christmas Tree Farmers of Ontario. So Shirley, would you like to say hello and share a bit about the world of Christmas tree farming in Ontario?
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me. In Ontario, we are fortunate to have an abundance of Christmas tree farms and Christmas trees that are grown on a farm to provide a sustainable source for our holiday celebrations. Harvesting Christmas trees locally not only allow us to create wonderful memories, but it aligns with environmentally friendly practices. In Ontario, we actually have about 425 Christmas tree farms that you can visit. I'm now going to introduce to you Allison and Joe, who are the owners of Chickadee Christmas Trees, and who are our host tree farm, where you're going to learn more about Christmas tree farming in Ontario.
Welcome, everybody, to Chickadee Christmas Trees. I'm Allison, and this is Joe, and we're so excited to have you here with us today. We're excited to share with you this unique kind of farming, which is growing trees for people to have in their homes during the holiday season. And so we have been growing Christmas trees for 26 years, and we want to share with you all about that. So the first thing we're going to do is actually play a video that gives you all the idea of what we do during the year growing our trees. So Madison, if you could start up that video, that would be great, please.
The process of growing trees starts out with planting a little seedling like this in the ground. So we use a shovel to dig a hole, and then we put the tree in, make sure it's nice and straight, pack it down a little bit, and then that's how we plant the tree. That tree there is probably about 4 years old when we planted it. After we plant the tree, we like to put in an orange flag so we know that that particular tree is a first-year tree. If we need to in the summertime, if it's really dry, we'll have to irrigate that tree, and we know that's a first-year tree. Its roots aren't developed yet, so we should give it some water when it's dry in the summer. That's called irrigating, and some farms irrigate with overhead sprinklers or drip lines or even water cannons. The tree needs to have nutrients, just like you need to get your nutrients, eat properly, get your fruit and vegetables and your vitamins and minerals. So every year we fertilize the tree. So we have this granular fertilizer that we spread around the tree once a year, and the rain will wash that into the soil to the roots, and that fertilizer will help the tree grow. Once in its lifetime, we need to create this stump. we call it the handle in the Christmas tree business. And that handle, that stump is there so that the trunk can fit into the tree stand so the tree can stand upright. So what you need to do there is get down on your hands and knees and clip off all the lower branches like that. We do that once, and that will give the tree its trunk for the tree stand. The spacing of the trees is 2 meters by 2 meters by 2 meters by 2 meters. That gives the tree a chance to have space to grow, light. It also allows us to walk around the tree to work on the tree. Every year we need to shape the trees, and so we have to make sure that the top isn't too long. If it gets too long, the tree gets too sparse. And then we need to shape the tree. We use a shaping knife for this, and we simply walk around the tree and shape it with our knife into that tree, nice tree shape. So a tree like this that's ready to go, this tree's probably 10 years old. Those trees back there, those are probably about 40, 50 years old.
Awesome. So now we're going to answer some questions from the chat. So please put your questions in if you have some.
How tall is your tallest tree?
Oh, how tall is our tallest tree? The tallest tree that we have in our field is probably 8 feet. We've had a lot of pressure, a lot of people going out to cut trees, so we can't grow them too tall. So about 8 feet is the tallest tree.
How much water do you use for 1 year with each tree?
Some years we don't need to use any water at all because Mother Nature provides us with the rain. But if we do need to irrigate during some dry weather, we will give a tree 2 liters every week. And we'll keep doing that until we get some helping rain from Mother Nature.
How many trees do you have on the farm?
Well, we've never gone out and counted them all, but we think that there's probably between 10 and 12,000 trees, and that includes the very first year trees, the really, really small ones, and then that goes right up to the ones that are a little bit bigger, the 7, 8 footers that are ready for sale.
Awesome. Just one more question and then we'll go into our next video.
What is the best type of tree to use for Christmas trees?
The best type of tree is the one that you go out and you fall in love with. Different people like different types of trees, different heights. Some people like them thin, some people like them thick. Some people like a fir tree or a spruce tree or a pine tree. And we're going to talk a little bit more about those 3 types of trees as we go on here today. So the best type of tree is the one you fall in love with.
I love that answer. And like you said, actually, we're going right into a video on more about the types of trees. So let's watch that.
Here's a joke for you. What do the monkeys sing when they come out to the tree fields to cut their tree? The monkeys sing jungle bells. There are 3 main types of trees. One is a fir tree. The fir tree has short needles and it has really nice smell to it. That's one type of tree. The second kind of tree that's popular is a spruce tree. The spruce tree needles are a little bit more prickly, but they have really sturdy branches to hold up their ornaments. The third main type of tree is a pine tree. And you can always tell a pine tree because of the long needles that it has. So I want to talk a little bit about how trees make other trees. And the way it works is a tree will have a cone, and inside that cone is a seed. So this particular cone is a fir cone from the fir tree, that first type of tree. That second tree we talked about is a white spruce tree, and that's a little bit smaller cone, white spruce cone. And then a cone from this type of tree, a Scotch pine tree, is a little cone like that. Other trees have other kinds of cones. This particular cone is from a white pine tree, eastern white pine tree. That's the provincial tree of Ontario. This is a cone from a red pine tree, very similar to the Scotch pine tree, but it's a little bit bigger. And then this cone here is from a Norway spruce tree. So it's a lot bigger than that little tiny one that I dropped from the white spruce tree. And those cones, there's seeds in those cones. And those seeds will catch in the wind and they'll disperse themselves to grow another little tiny tree. So now I'd like to cut a tree. Well, I'm not actually going to cut the tree, but I'll show you how a tree gets cut. So the customer's going to come out and they're going to have a look around. They think about the space they're going to put the tree, and this particular tree, it's not too big, so it fits nicely in a living room. And so you need a saw and some safety glasses to put on. Safety first. And I got another joke for you too. So this is a Scotch pine tree. Here's the joke. What do you get when you combine an apple with a Scotch pine tree? You get a pineapple. All right, so if you want to cut your tree, it's always good to bring out a little piece of cardboard so you don't get your knees wet. You're gonna bend over, and you want to saw as close to the ground as possible so that you have a big enough trunk that it'll fit in your tree stand. So I would cut that tree, and I'm not going to cut it because that one's going to be for sale this year. And once I've cut that tree, I can carry it back to the car. I can drag it back to the vehicle. One thing you could do is you could put it on this transportation device, tree skid. So we would lay the tree on there, wrap ropes around it, and then they would pull it back to the vehicle. So I'm heading back to the vehicle. I'll see you guys later.
Awesome. So that was a lot of information, a lot of great information. So we're going to answer a couple of questions.
How big can a Christmas tree grow? Well, I guess as big as you would want a tree. We don't have any luck doing that here because people cut them before they get too big. But we know that some people will take a 14-foot tree into their home, and sometimes some cities will take big 20-foot trees and display those outside. How long have you been growing trees, and what year did you start? That's a great question. So we started growing trees in 1997. So I believe that's 26 years that we've been growing trees. Do you guys get your own seeds? Oh, what a great question. We don't get our own seeds. What we do is we buy seedlings. So little trees that have been grown for about 3 years from a seed, we buy. It's very, very hard to grow trees from a seed. So there are specialty people that do that, and then we buy those little seedlings from them. How many branches are on a Christmas tree? Wow, that's a really tough question, and I don't have an answer for that. I'm sorry. How much does it cost to buy an average tree at your farm? All these questions are so great. So at our farm, if you want to go and cut a tree in the field, it is $78 and then plus the taxes. How many different types of trees do you grow on your farm? Oh, well, we grow about 6 different types of trees.
Awesome. Let's do one more question, and then we will show the Christmas tree demonstration.
The most popular Christmas tree, again, it just depends on what you maybe grew up with. A lot of people like to buy a fir tree, but there are some people who will always get a pine. All right, is that all? I think that's all our questions. So what we're going to do now is actually we're going to show you how we shake and bale a tree for our customers when they come back to have from the field. So I'm going to turn the camera around here, and Joe is going to show you that. Oh no, what happened? I'm off. Something happened.
All right, Allison. While you figure that out, we'll just put a question for you all to answer.
Ah, there we go. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Okay, so here's Joe, and he's going to show you how to shake and bale a Christmas tree.
All right, everybody. So somebody bring your tree back. We're gonna shake it daily. So we'll take it off the tree skid. We'll make sure we put on our safety glasses. Safety first. And going to put the tree into this device called the tree shaker. The reason we want to shake the tree is because naturally every tree is going to have some brown dead needles in there. And we're going to shake the tree in order to get those out to the customer just to make it a little bit cleaner for them. So I put the trunk, the handle into that hole there, and I've got a foot switch over here, and I'm going to step on the foot switch. And I shake the tree. There. So it's shaking. Now I'm going to bale the tree. A lot of people, most people like to put the tree in a netting. It keeps the tree fresher, and it's easier to handle the tree, to carry the tree around. Used to be in the past that netting used plastic, and plastic is a huge problem for our planet. There's microplastics in the air, in the water, in humans and other animals. And Allison and I wanted to stop using the plastic, so Allison and I developed this netting, which has no plastic in it at all. So here's how you bale a tree. We just pull it through the netting, and presto, your tree is baled. So that tree's baled up in this cotton netting. This particular netting will totally disappear in the summertime when it's taken to the landfill site. No plastics, good stuff. It's best for our planet.
Awesome. Thank you so much for showing us how to shake and bale a tree. That is
Madison,
wonderful.
I have a quick question for you. Is there an echo, or are we okay?
Sorry, say that again.
Is there an echo in our voices?
Your voice is a little muffled, yes, I will say.
Okay.
Maybe we'll do the swags and the wreaths, and then you can go back inside and answer some questions, and then we can hear you a little better.
I think that's a great idea.
Perfect. Let's do that.
Okay, so one of the other things we do at the farm is we decorate wreaths and swags for our customers. And these are made with the branches of Christmas trees. And we make the bows and decorate them. All right, I think we'll
Awesome.
head back inside.
Sounds good. And we are going to now show you a video that shows the environmental benefits of growing trees and getting your tree from a tree farm.
Our tree farm is environmentally friendly. We have lots of different animals and plants. We have chipmunks, squirrels, skunks, duck, quack, quack. We have ladybugs crawling around. They'll eat the aphids that try and suck the juice out of the needles of the trees. We have grasshoppers, crickets, flies, mosquitoes, dragonflies. Bzzz. We have toads and frogs. Ribbit, ribbit. There are deer and fox and rabbits and groundhogs and all manner of birds like this blue jay. Dee, dee, dee. In the summertime, the tree fields are full of flowers, and those flowers help the pollinators like the bees, honeybees, bumblebees, and butterflies. Look, there's a butterfly over here right now, flying around this clover. The energy from the sun will come down to the clover plant, and the clover will produce the flower. The honeybees will land on these pink flowers, and they'll get the nectar. They'll take it back to their hive, and they'll make honey, and humans can eat that yummy honey. That's good. Oh, that reminds me of a joke. Do you know what kind of gum bees like to chew? The kind of gum that bees like to chew is bumble gum. Well, I'd like to talk about another food chain. So trees will have cones on them, and in those cones there will be seeds. So the sun grows the tree, the energy goes into the tree, the energy goes into the seeds, and then a mouse will eat those seeds, and now the energy has gone into the mouse. When a snake comes by and eats that mouse, the energy now goes into the snake. And when a coyote comes along, yip, 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 and eats the snake, then the energy will go into the coyote. So the energy flows from the sun into the seeds, and then into the mouse, and then the energy goes into the snake, and then the energy goes into the coyote, and that's called a food chain. Trees produce oxygen, and we need oxygen to breathe. But did you know that trees also absorb a lot of carbon dioxide? And carbon dioxide is a problem on our planet right now because it is contributing to global warming and climate change. So trees are good because trees give us oxygen and they take away the carbon dioxide.
Amazing. That video was awesome, just teaching us about the food chain and some environmental benefits of real trees. Perfect. So why don't we go into answering some questions, because I'm sure we have lots.
What do people do with the nuts when the tree goes home?
Is that me? Okay, the netting can be cut off with a pair of scissors, and you can put that netting in your garbage because it's made from cotton, just like a lot of shirts and a lot of clothes are made from cotton. And so if you put that netting into your garbage, then when your garbage gets taken to the landfill site, then it gets buried there, and there's some little tiny animals that'll chew that up, and it'll be gone before the summer's over.
How long does it take for a tree to grow to full size?
That's a good question. You guys have a lot of good questions. Usually it takes about 8 to 12 years for a tree to grow. It depends on its root system and if it's hot and dry in the summer or if it's a wet year. And it depends on what soil it's growing in. Good soil, good moisture means the tree will grow faster. Maybe it'll be ready in 8 to 9 years. But if it doesn't have good soil and good moisture, it's going to take longer, like 12 years or even more.
How long does the cut tree last? And how can you make them last longer?
That's a good question. Cut trees will last up to 6 to 8 weeks. You can make it last longer by making a fresh cut on that stump and then putting it in your tree stand with plenty of water. And don't let that tree stand run out of water. The tree has to continue to drink that water. And don't put it right at a heater vent or a furnace vent because that can maybe dry out your tree. So that's how you can make it last a little longer.
Do you have any problems with bugs?
No, we don't. We've been very fortunate that we don't really have to do much with the bugs. One year we had a problem with caterpillars. They were chewing at the branches. So we combated that with a little bit of spray and then we didn't have that problem anymore.
When are you the busiest, the most popular date when people come by their trees?
We're busiest on National Christmas Tree Day, and National Christmas Day is the first Saturday in December. And this year, it's going to be Saturday, December 2nd. So National Christmas Day is the busiest day.
What is the thing you like most about your tree farm?
Well, besides Allison, the best thing about my tree farm is that I'm working in nature. I'm outside all the time, and I love being outside. That's the best part of it.
What do you do with the trees that die?
We have an area on our farm that is kind of a wetland, and I'll take the trees out there and I'll throw them in the wetland and they'll decompose. The little bugs will eat away at all the branches and needles and it'll turn it back into soil. So that's what we do with the trees.
How do you keep track of all of your trees?
Boy, you guys have a lot of good questions. We usually keep data. So we have a piece of paper or on the computer, we'll make charts and graphs and we'll write down numbers of different kinds of trees we have and what species we have and what height they are. So it's all about data collection. So I know you guys do data management courses in school. So this is, if you understand how to collect data and show data in your school, then that's what we do too.
How much water should you give an indoor Christmas tree?
You need to make a fresh cut on the bottom. So you want to cut off about a 2 centimeter slice, gets the fresh plant tissue, put your tree into a tree stand with plenty of water, and don't let that tree stand run out of water because if you do, then the bottom of the trunk's going to dry out. Your tree won't take any more water in.
How many trees do you sell each day?
It depends. Like sometimes if it's a rainy Friday and windy and it's poor weather, we won't sell very many. Maybe we'll sell 50 or 100 trees. And then if it's a busy day like National Christmas Tree Day, which is the first Saturday in December, then we're going to sell hundreds of trees.
What is the largest tree on the farm?
Right now, the largest tree on our farm is just over 9 feet. It's a real beauty, and I'm in love with it. And it's going to make a family very, very happy.
We have 4 small pine trees at home that were planted 2 years ago. At what stage can we string them with lights without harming them?
You should be able to string them with lights at any time. I would start with some very small miniature lights. As soon as you see the branches start to really bend over and droop, then you don't want to put anything more on them. So have fun with your little lights on your trees.
How did you get into the business of selling trees?
It was actually my dad's idea. He wanted to grow trees. He wanted to start a Christmas tree farm, but he did not. And he said to me, Joe, why don't you grow Christmas trees? So that's how it all started out in 1997 when we started to plant Christmas trees.
Can you shape your trees into fun shapes?
Yes and no. That's a fun question. Trees would naturally want to grow in that kind of a triangle shape. But you can change it a little bit, but not much.
Awesome. Let's do 2 more from the audience, and then I have a question of my own kind of to end things off.
Oh, this is a question from Malik. Why are the trees so expensive?
The reason the trees are so expensive is because it takes a lot of work to grow a nice tree. There's a lot of labor involved, from planting, fertilizing, shaping, and it's not something you can get done in a week or a year. It takes many years of that labor. There are also other things that cost money, like you need to put fuel into your grass cutters to cut the grass. You need to buy fertilizer, which is getting very expensive. And so those are the main reasons why they're starting to get expensive.
How old is the oldest tree on the farm?
Well, the oldest tree's probably about 15 years old. It's in an area of very dry soil up on a hillside, and it's taking a long time to grow, but it's finally going to make somebody happy this year.
That is awesome. Okay, final question, and then I have mine.
What is the shortest tree you've grown?
We've had some people go out and cut trees that are maybe a meter high, and they're going to put that tree into an apartment, so it fits in nice and small for an apartment. So we do know that other farmers grow something called tabletop trees, and those are trees are maybe a meter high, and they're small and they're nicely shaped, and the customer puts those on a table at their house. It's called a tabletop tree, just a little tree in the house.
That's awesome. And I had one of those last year. They're very cute. All right. So for my question, I just wanted to end off the virtual field trip, first of all, by saying thank you, everyone, for the amazing questions. We had so many, we couldn't even get through them all. But my question is I want to ask if there's any jobs in tree farming or careers, and if there are, can you tell us about them?
Are you thinking that tree farming could be a cool career? Well, it is. If you're thinking about a career in tree farming, you want to study hard in school. Maybe a little bit later, you can take courses such as business courses, science. There's a lot of science in farming, and you need to work on your communication skills because you'll be working with your employees and customers. There could be a part-time job for you in your future. We start hiring high school students in grade 9, and we need help with planting and fertilizing in the springtime. In the summer, we need help shaping the trees and cutting grass. And in November and December, we need help
selling the trees. So if you're interested in working at a Christmas tree farm, once you get to about the high school grade 9, then make sure you phone a couple of months in advance because tree farmers like to plan ahead. So those are some job opportunities for tree farming.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything you've taught us about tree farming. And now if people go to a tree farm, they can remember everything they learned and pick out their perfect Christmas tree for the holidays. So is there anything else you want to say to everyone before we say goodbye?
We just wanted to thank everybody for being here today. It was just so much fun to do this, and yeah, thanks again for the opportunity.
Yes, of course. So thank you everyone for joining us. We hope you learned a lot and have a great rest of your day.
Bye.